All right, guys, how are we doing today? Steve Mingleco, Final Web Design. In today's video, I want to talk about the differences in the web hosting options, shared, VPS, dedicated server, and what works best for your business. So let's get in.
Final Web Design, this is Steve.
All right, guys, so as you know, once your website is officially done and ready to be moved online to the public, you're going to need server hosting. Now, what is server hosting? Server hosting is basically just a computer that is always connected to the internet that will keep your website permanently online and keep it out there for the public. Now, there are typically three different types of hostings that are available. You have your shared hosting, which is when you use a server with other websites. You have your VPS hosting, which is where you basically have your own virtual part of a server to act as like an individual server within the server. And then you have a dedicated server, which is basically any type of server that is completely dedicated just to you, your business, your company. So why don't we kind of break down what these different options are and what is technically best for you and your business? Now, a lot of people are going to start off by using the shared servers. Shared servers are essentially just again, website servers that are being used with your website along with other businesses. We technically have three different types of hosting available currently on our online, and shared server is probably our most popular server option. And a lot of people go to shared servers because it's the cheapest. Once you get into VPS, it gets a little more expensive. And then once you get into dedicated server or having a whole computer just for your website, things get very expensive, just to be upfront. I mean, a lot more expensive than the shared options. So why would you go with a shared option? Basically, you're just needing something that's online, just something to keep your website online. You're not dealing with heavy traffic. You're not dealing with heavy like user login, sign up, database type requirements that a website such as like a Facebook or a social media outlet or a bank or any of that would type of need, where they're going to need a dedicated server just to kind of host all that information and to make it all available to the public. So shared servers are definitely our most popular, and you can typically get that for about $15 a month, give or take. And there's a lot of differences within the shared server space because our shared servers, we actually offer what we call managed hosting or managed shared servers. So we manage the server for you. We continue to do the updates and stuff because it's like any computer, you need to continue to maintain and update the servers with new PHP versions, with more RAM, with more space, and things to keep the server and the website evolving with time, just like anything else. So number one is our shared server. You can typically get that about $15 a month, and that's pretty standard. Anything like a GoDaddy, a Bluehost, a HostGator, there's a lot of different companies out there that offer shared servers. So the next thing I want to get into is the VPS server. And basically, the VPS server is just a dedicated, a private server, also known as a VPS, and it acts as an isolated virtual environment on a physical server. So basically, you're taking a part of one server and making it act as if it's its own server. So I know that gets a little bit complicated, but basically, you're able to use things like WHM and other cloud or web hosting providers to make sure that your website is sitting in its own part of the server and acts independently of the other websites. Now, this is different from a shared server because a shared server, you're basically all under that one umbrella of the hosting, whereas a VPS, you're technically a partitioned area of the server that is being used as your own environment. So you can get tools such as WHM to help manage your hosting environment. And this is a very popular solution for a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses like the VPS because you do have more control over updating software and things that you wouldn't have with a shared server. Um, but again, it's also a little bit more expensive, and not as many businesses use it because it costs a little bit more. And a lot of people don't know how to manage a VPS or know what those resources are. So again, they'll probably go with a shared server, and then just when they have questions, you can do something like us with our managed hosting, where we'll update and maintain that for you. So the last thing I would say is that we have the dedicated server. Now this is the most expensive option because technically you have a whole website sitting on one server. So you can put multiple websites if you have multiple businesses. However, a lot of bigger companies, again, like the Googles, the Facebooks, things like that, are going to have whole dedicated servers because they need that high traffic websites. They have a lot of content, a lot of streaming, a lot of video, a lot of big data that needs to be stored, and you're not able to do that with something such as a shared server or VPS because you just don't have the space or the power. So very popularly, you'll see that this has become more of an option. So I'm just going to pull up now on the website a few of those options, and we can take a deeper look at the different prices and options available. So as I mentioned, we're going to pull up now some of our hosting options, and as you can see here, managed, e-commerce, and dedicated. Now, I guess this is a little bit different than what you're going to see, but this is essentially our VPS, which is available for, again, bigger websites and things that need to be managed with a more virtual terminal. The managed hosting here, now our price is a little bit different because what we have included is we have not only the hosting server, but we have the security features such as site lock, we have the SSL certificates, and we have an updates and upgrades package. So we'll continue to update the website with all the plugins, extensions, and parts like that. So technically, when you actually see an invoice, the hosting itself is only about $14, but then the updates and upgrades is like $80, the security is like $40. So it comes to this total price here. And as you can see here, we can actually break it down, and you're able to see all the features, all the space. You're running on Linux or Windows. You have a cPanel. You have a lot of options here that you don't have available with the typical just basic hosting services. The next thing is again the managed, which is essentially just the VPS, and the e-commerce, and a lot of what this is actually offering is again you have bigger space, you have more SSD, you have unlimited bandwidth and things that are needed, and also because you have that online e-commerce service, you're going to want to make sure that you're updating it because when you're taking people's credit cards and stuff, we have to make sure that those payments are secure, that everything's safe, that you're not getting hacked if you've taken people's credit card information, their addresses, things like that. The final that we offer is obviously the dedicated server. The dedicated server is very similar to what you're used to. It's essentially a full server just dedicated to you, your business, your website, and the services and the websites that you want on your own server. Now we can give you access to all this, but with our services, we include and manage all of this for you. So if you need anything done, we'll just go in there, fix it up, and finish it for you. So guys, with that being said, if you want to get into hosting, if you have other questions, we can be here to help you and kind of explain what these different options are and which one is technically best for you and your business. Take some time to review these, get an understanding. I'm going to say probably 80% of our small businesses just need a shared managed hosting. But if you do have an e-commerce, if you do have a larger social media or heavy data website, you might be needing something a little more integrated like a dedicated server. So guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, that helps, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.